with you, if I may, perhaps for the last time in front of the room here. Amateur meteorologists, due to the weather apps on the phones in our pockets. This was in the before times when and she could see the smile on my face and replied to her bit. I remember a colleague aptly noted, we all become armchair biologists, carefully studying epidemiology from our lockdown couches. I laughed and struggled to unmute myself to make an analogy to the weather. The same flawed predictions, the same sensational terms. It wasn't long before we ruefully concocted a report of a graduate training with a front of pandemic moving in created a kind of tropical depression, which sometimes exploded into fits of despair. We've been pelted by a hail of unforeseen challenges, drenched by a downpour of delays, disruptions, and disappointments, and ensconced in a miasma of uncertainty, anxiety, and risk, in which it didn't seem safe even to breathe freely. We've accrued quite a number of rain checks for the expectations and dreams deferred. Despite this foul and foggy situation, we stood on an exposed ridge and faced the storm, each in our own way, from the slow and steady rumbles portending a coming plague to the lashing New York took in the first surge. Through the squally, inhospitable lockdowns and isolations of the middle months, we weathered the storm by watching out for each other. On our masks, we rescheduled, reworked, reimagined, retreated to quarantine quarters, and Zoomed. We offered each other a spot under our umbrellas. We offered each other understanding. We were each other's shelter, and we were each other's support. We stood in mud puddles. Occasionally, we put on gumboots and splashed around in them. I can in no way claim that this was easy or pleasant, that we didn't falter at times, one or all of us together. There were many moments of sadness, frustration, loneliness, loss of hope, but I can confidently assert that we did it together, as a cohort and as a program. The great Carl Ransom Rogers describes this kind of thing, as a never-to-be-forgotten group experience. Out of such a context arise true students, real learners, creative scientists and scholars and practitioners, the kind of individuals who can live in a delicate and ever-changing balance between what is presently known and the flowing, moving, altering problems and facts of the future. The hardships of your training, redoubled by the pandemic, fortified your cohort as an extraordinary empathic community of learners. This class is built on strong friendships, productive strife, mutual respect, and shared dedication to persistence and progress. You've got grit, I'll tell you that. This class, above and beyond any other, is characterized by unconditional camaraderie. They can negotiate their way into, through, around, and out of just about anything, including a herd and a It now seems the storm may be passing, though not yet gone. The winds of change have died down a bit, temperatures and pressures are moderating. We're coming up to a sunset after a wild and turbulent day. Have you ever noticed that sunsets after a storm are the most brilliant of all? Dramatic colors, contours as the clouds drift away, and the storm once so violent becomes the past. Raj said that people are just as wonderful as sunsets if you let them be. When I look at a sunset, I don't find myself saying, "Stuff in the orange, a bit on the right-hand corner." I don't try to control a sunset. I watch with awe as it unfolds. Today, we celebrate the sunset of your training and watch in awe as your futures unfold. Neither chastened nor chagrined by the faulty prognostications of the past year, we, like many a meteorologist before, confidently proclaim and predict that your future's dearest graduates are forecast to be bright, beautiful, halcyon in fact, full of good work, and abiding connection to each other, with perhaps a slight chance of rain. So congratulations to you all. We are very, very proud of your good work and quality. It's now my pleasure to introduce Crystal Collins-Cured to offer presidential remarks.
Thank you, Claire. Obviously, I didn't get the memo today about the dress code, for which I apologize, but you will see me on Saturday in full regalia. And my formal remarks to you will come on Saturday as part of the dress. By the power vested in me by the authority of the state, of the regents of the State University of New York, et cetera, et cetera. And Claire kindly put me later in the agenda today because I was running another meeting. Here, to offer you congratulations. I can't possibly follow you. And as for a dress that we just had, so I will do a little more simple. You're an extraordinary group who are entering the world at a time where the work of genetic cancers is not being at a recent meeting said that we have Star Wars science and a Flintstone delivery system. That we have a genotype being delivered as though it's phenotype is. And you come at a moment when the explosion of genetic genomic information absolutely requires everything that you bring to it, for the meaning that you will bring, for those with whom you interact. Critical work that you've prepared here to do. You are, as you know, but I have fun saying it, about to graduate from the first program in genetic counseling. Therefore, the oldest program in genetic counseling. The program with the largest number of alumni in the genetic counseling field. And still the largest program in genetic counseling. No pressure. No pressure. Because you are going out into a world that hears Sarah Lawrence and knows that you are coming as the next generation into 52 years of work that began at this college. So you take Sarah Lawrence out as you go out into the world of genetic counselors. You also join that larger community of genetic counselors. You do what Sarah Lawrence does so well in this field. Sometimes people say to me, why did the liberal arts college, why did genetic counseling emerge as a field of study, professional training, at this little liberal arts college on a little campus just outside? Here's what we take. Here's why it emerged. The critical intersection is that you have to have ethical, humanistic knowledge in order to be successful as genetic counselors. You have to marry the scientific and medical information that you have with an intervention that recognizes how critical the social, ethical, humanistic intervention is. That's what you take out. You take out a trajectory that's been built on that. You go into an alumni base that is international, or around the globe, and you will take forward that work at an incredible rate. So I look forward on Saturday, although it will be virtual, to conferring your degrees officially. At that point, I'm delighted you have this time to get ready on the way into it. And then Saturday afternoon, we look forward to welcoming you into the alumni community that is Sarah Lawrence College. So thank you for the work that you've already done. But thank you even more for what you're now prepared to do and what you will do as you go forward. So congratulations, congratulations.
Most of us know today's keynote speaker, and it is with pleasure that I'm here to introduce Dr. Robert Marion. I'd like to provide some background on our speaker. Dr. Marion is a graduate of Albert Einstein College of Medicine and did his internship in pediatrics at Tufts Medical Center in Boston. Upon graduation, he returned to Albert Einstein College of Medicine for his residency in pediatrics and did a fellowship in medical genetics. At the Albert Einstein College of Medicine, Dr. Marion is professor of pediatrics and obstetrics and gynecology and women's health. He also serves as co-director of medical student education for the Department of Pediatrics and is co-chair of Einstein's Committee on Admission. He's the founder and co-director of several clinics, one being Montefiore Regional Williams Syndrome Center, Genetics Clinic, the Immunogenetics Clinic, and the Dermatology Genetics Clinic. He also has been at the Gleisdale Children's Hospital in Valhalla, served as Director of Genetics, and was the medical director of the Einstein Montefiore Spinal Clinic for 25 years. He has numerous awards in recognition to his dedication as a teacher, quite a few actually, and here are just some. One is the Lifetime Achievement Award for teaching at Einstein, the Owetsky Award for Excellence in Medical Student Teaching in the Department of Pediatrics, and the Exceptional Commitment to Teaching Award from our very own program, John H. Marks, Graduate Programs in Human Genetics at Sarah Woods. Dr. Barron's clinical and research interests include the natural history and genetic basis of multiple malformation syndromes. His publications are quite numerous and in the medical literature quite extensive. What I found out is Dr. Marion is author of several fiction and non-fiction books. And I'm going to name some: The Intern Blues, The Boy Who Felt No Pain, which won the Christopher Award, Learning to Play God, and Genetics Round: A Doctor's Life in the Field of Revolutionized Medicine. Dr. Marion has taught at the Sarah Lawrence Human Genetics Program since 1980 and has served multiple roles, including as a member of its admission committee. He is a resident of Westchester County and lives with his wife, Beth, which I just recently found out has a master's degree in genetics counseling. He is father of 3 children and grandfather to 3. On a personal note, many years ago, I had the privilege of working with Dr. Marion at the Children's Health Center at Stanford Hospital. And during those years, I learned so much from him. I also watched over the years how he was the sole medical geneticist that we could get to come to Stanford, and so his dedication and the impact of his care on our patient population and the difference he made. So join me in welcoming Dr. Marion. Perfect. Got you too.
Okay. Gosh, thank you for inviting me. President Collins Jeff, Dean Ferguson, co-directors Davis and Alico Eck, faculty of the Joan H. Marks Graduate Program in Human Genetics, members of the class of 2021 who are sitting right here in front of me, families and friends who are sitting out there. Boy, is it good to see you guys in person, not as a series of tiny pictures at the bottom of the computer screen, but as real, living, breathing genetic counselors. Yes, genetic counselors. What a relief to be able to be together again in the same room and to be able to celebrate you. Actually, we have a lot of things to celebrate today. First and foremost, congratulations to each and every one of you on completing the requirements necessary for the conferring of the degree of Master of Science. Under normal circumstances, this would be a huge accomplishment, but the last 15 months have been anything but normal, as you've already heard. And you're having accomplished this feat in the age of COVID-19 is truly miraculous. Think about it, in the middle of the second semester of your first year at graduate school, at a time when the educational experience should have been dramatically expanding and your transmogrification from mere mortals into genetic counselors should have been taking place, the world came to a complete stop. Suddenly, no more in-person classes, no more clinical rotations, no more face-to-face interactions with classmates, faculty members, mentors, teachers, research advisors, clients, friends, family, prospective employers. Everything was locked down, everyone went into quarantine, and our existences collapsed into bytes that could be fit onto a 14-inch laptop screen. And in order to make all these artificial connections work, everyone had to become their own IT person. And that's how it's been ever since. I don't have to tell you how terrible the last year has been. New York was the first epicenter of the epidemic. People we knew became sick, emergency rooms filled past capacity, and patients overflowed into the streets. ICUs ran out of beds, masks and gowns and hand sanitizer and Clorox wipes and ventilators and even oxygen were in short supply, and people died. Many people. Hospital morgues filled up. The overflow was housed in refrigerated trailers parked on hospital loading docks, and day and night ambulances filled the streets and sirens filled the air. It was scary and intense and anxiety provoking. The simple act of leaving our houses to go to the market seemed as if we were taking our lives into our hands. Yes, it was terrible, but each of you persevered and transcended the horror against terrible odds with the threat of terrible disease hanging over your heads. You hung in there. You did what needed to be done to gain the knowledge and experience needed to become genetic counselors. And you've made it more than any other class that has graduated from this program. You each deserve to celebrate this enormous accomplishment. But there's more than than this to celebrate. The simple fact that we're here in the same room with Barbara Walter, sharing space and breathing the same air, is in itself cause for celebration. The fact that we're all here in person suggests that if the pandemic is not completely over, then the light at the end of this long, scary tunnel has become incredibly bright. Together, we've each survived this terrible plague. We have faced the worst that the coronavirus could bring on, and not only have you and your family survived, you have flourished. And there's more. Today's event marks the 50th anniversary of the first graduating class of this program. 50 years. In May of 1971, 8 students became the first graduates of what would become the Joan H. Marks Graduate Program in Human Genetics. It was even before Joan H. Marks was head of the program. The first class was composed of trailblazers. Those 8 women, all of whom had returned to school after raising families and having careers in other fields, became the world's first genetic counselors. They were pioneers in a new field that has just been invented. Back in 1971, no one knew if these new professionals would be accepted, let alone find a place in the relatively new field of medical genetics. But the fact is that 6 of the 8 women who received their degrees that day quickly accepted positions as genetic counselors. Each of you graduating today is standing on the shoulders of these pioneers. I'm standing on their shoulders as well. 2 of those graduates, Gay Sachs and Sandy Silverman, became members of the staff of the recently founded genetic counseling program at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine. And 4 years later, in the fall of 1975, when a first-year medical student with an unnatural interest in medical genetics showed up at the genetic counseling program looking for some way to become involved, it was Sandy and Gay who took me in and trained me. That first afternoon, Gay and Sandy grabbed me, they threw me in a chair between their 2 desks, and they sat me down and began my indoctrination into the world of genetic counseling. For the rest of my career, the training I received from Sandy and Gay during those early years has guided me and made me into the medical geneticist I am. So on this day, as we celebrate your accomplishments, we must also acknowledge and celebrate the accomplishments of Sandy and Gay and the other members of that class of 1971. Without them, genetic counseling would look very different. And like those 8 students who graduated in 1971, the 26 of you who are graduating today are also pioneers. Pioneers in the post-pandemic world of medical genetics. The landscape is very different today than it was prior to 2020. What with telemedicine, chatbots, which I learned about from a post. At-home test kits, Zoom conferences, simulated client contacts, which I knew about but also heard about in a poster, online support groups, and on. Those of us who worked in the pre-pandemic age are, to say the least, confused. But you guys, out of necessity, have become experts at all of these things. Because you're way ahead of the rest of us, my colleagues and I will depend on you to teach us what to do. So thank you in advance for teaching us how to do these things. At graduations, it's customary for the speaker to give the graduates some advice, deliver an inspirational message that will help guide them through their careers. Though this sounds as hokey to me as it probably does to you, I actually do have some pieces of advice to leave you with. Here are 6 keys to success in your career as a genetic counselor. First and foremost, be good to yourselves. This is really important. As genetic counselors, you'll be dealing with people who are going through some of the most difficult periods of their lives. Though sometimes things will turn out fantastically well, at other times it will be extremely stressful. This stress, added to the stress introduced by returning to work near the end of the pandemic, means that you need to take extra special care of yourselves. So do it. Make sure, do it. Make sure to take any steps necessary to decrease stress. Always remember to take time for yourselves, to exercise and meditate if that helps, and to eat healthy. If you don't take care of yourselves, you can't take care of others. This is kind of the father and grandfather. Second, always remember to respect your clients and your colleagues. Be sensitive to their needs. Show up on time. Try to return emails and phone messages as promptly as you can. Follow through on things you offer to do for others, and try not to make people wait. This really makes me crazy. Your time is definitely important and valuable, but so is theirs. Third, believe in yourselves. Have a vision of what you want to do and what you want to become. Be passionate about your careers. Genetic counseling is not a 9-to-5 job. It's a profession and a life-fulfilling career. Though you will be many other things in your life, a spouse, a parent, a member of the community, etc., etc., from now on, you will always also be a genetic counselor. Celebrate that by setting goals for yourself and following through on them. And periodically take yourself out for a retreat, during which you take stock of where you are and where you want to head in the future. It might sound funny to go on a retreat by yourself, but it can be very helpful in resetting your priorities. Fourth, develop a support network. You are graduating with a wonderful group of newly minted genetic counselors. Your colleagues that have experienced the same things you have over the past 2 years. They know where you've been and they have an idea of where you're headed. So be sure to keep in touch with your classmates as well as your teachers, mentors, and colleagues. Work together in person, via email or phone conversations or over social media. We can solve any problem. You are also now part of the largest group of genetic counseling alumni in the universe. Sarah Lawrence alums are everywhere. Be sure to become active members of this network and call on your colleagues for help anytime you need it. And of course, if I can help you in any way, please don't hesitate to contact me. If you have questions you might be reluctant to ask your colleagues at work, but really need an answer to, email me or call my cell phone, and please friend me on Facebook. Remember, we're all in this together. Fifth, be sure to celebrate every Eureka moment. Getting the job of your dreams, receiving a promotion, having an article published in a journal, being cited in your undergraduate alumni magazine, graduating. Anything that calls for a celebration should be celebrated with a party and a cake and a bottle of wine. Life is too short to pass up any excuse to have a celebration. Six, be proactive. We're almost done. 6, be proactive. Be a voice for the things you believe are important. As a professional in the rapidly evolving world of genetic medicine, your voice is important in many issues. Be firm but flexible in your stance and never compromise your principles. You know, I've been involved in this program for a long time. I gave my first lecture on dysmorphology in the medical genetics course in 1980, over 40 years ago. Over those years, one of my trademarks has been that I always bring food to my lectures. I understand that feeding graduate students is as important as educating. And since all our contacts over the past year have been virtual, I haven't been able to feed you. So I'm making it up to you today. Finally, I'd like to say goodbye with a short parable. A recent graduate of a prestigious liberal arts college in New York approaches the ringmaster of a famous circus in his office and tells him that although she's accomplished some incredible things in her life, she's really always wanted to be a part of the greatest show on earth. The ringmaster asks her what she can do. I do great bird calls, the young graduate says. Bird calls? The ringmaster repeats, that's nothing special. Lots of people can do bird calls. If bird calls are all you can do, then I'm sorry, but I have no place for you in the circus. Sadly, the young graduate accepts the ringmaster's decision. She says goodbye to him, opens his door, and flies away. You are all that graduates do. You've been taught the bird calls. It's now time for you to open the door and fly. Thank you.
So I have the pleasure of presenting the Lipkin Family Prize for Human Genetics to Cassandra Bissett. Sandy has shown unparalleled dedication to growing as a person and a professional during her time as a graduate student in Joni Schubert's graduate program in human genetics. Her commitment to genetic counseling is revealed through principled collaborative action in the classroom and the clinic, such as prompting and promoting the use of simulated patient methodology in genetic counseling education. She bravely challenges her perspectives with new experiences to yield stronger, more nuanced and complex insights, and shares her thinking in ways that demonstrate her willingness to learn from and with others. She is equally and effusively supportive of clients and colleagues alike, and she contributes to shared goals in ways that enable all involved to feel empowered and successful. Through her passion for supporting others, she truly embodies the ethos of a caring healthcare professional who brings immense empathy, connection, humility, and kindness to all interactions. Sandy will no doubt be an excellent genetic counselor and make lasting positive changes in the profession. And personally, I am so thrilled to now be able to have our great conversations together with you, not as a student, but as a
really didn't much to say other than I think that we all deserve this moment, and getting through this past year together has been just so inspiring. And I'm honored and thrilled, but I would share it with every one of you and every one of the SPs and the school leaders and the leaders. So thank you. It is my great honor to award the SLC Exceptional Commitment to Teaching Award to Dr. Jessica and Michelle. Jessie. Joining us on Zoom, so everyone can do the wave. So Jessie received her Bachelor of Arts from CUNY New Paltz in Interpersonal and Intercultural Communication in Spanish. Her Master of Arts, Masters of Education, and Doctorate of Education from Teachers College, Columbia University. She has the honor of teaching at prestigious universities such as NYU, St. John's University, Teachers College of Columbia, in addition to teaching the Research Method course for first-year human genetics students and the Leadership in Genetic Counseling course for second-year students. Her professional activities extend from the journal conference peer review to her role as editor on a forthcoming book, Higher Education Amid the COVID-19 Pandemic, Teaching and Supporting Learning Through Turbulent Times. In reading her bio sketch is an impressive and daunting list, but what garners nomination for this award is not the list of academic accolades, but how a teacher reaches out and has personal impact on the students that they teach. Jessie has an innate ability to walk her walk and connect with her students and support them through the pandemic to foster their growth and success. As we listened to Claire speaking about the times that we have lived through, Dr. Marion speaking through, I was reflecting on what this truly means and how much of an impact a teacher can have on our students. To be a rudder, to be a guide, to be someone that their students may rely on, listen to, be supported by, to grow. And I think that really comes through in hearing all the comments from each of you in nomination of this award. Says one student, she was incredibly supportive of our class throughout our learning, but especially last year at the height of the pandemic. She consistently shows us that she cares about each one of us, not only as students, but as people. Another student said Jessie was one of the only teachers who asked the students how they were doing and made space in the class to talk about what happened. Since then, Jessie has allowed room for flexibility and is always willing to help with thesis work. She's designed her courses thoughtfully, and it shows in their structure. She is always accommodating, flexible, and understanding. She is super organized and always available to talk. She is one of the most thoughtful course directors we've ever had. She is very accommodating and always met us where we were in the pandemic. We are delighted to recognize you for all that you have done, all that you continue to do to inspire development for students. On behalf of the Joni H. Merckx Graduate Program in Human Genetics, it's my pleasure to present you with the Commitment to Teaching Award. Thank you.
Okay, up next, the award for Outstanding Supervisor. As you all have experienced, fieldwork training is a critical component of genetic counseling training. Fieldwork supervisors should be competent genetic counselors, as evidenced by their education and certification. However, their most valuable skills are those that promote a safe and positive learning environment for students. The very best clinical supervisors learn to recognize differences in student learning styles and developmental levels and adjust accordingly. They are role models for the ethical and professional treatment of patients we serve. They do all of this on top of their regular clinical and administrative tasks, expecting very little in return, most often because someone did it for them. It is my pleasure to present this year's Outstanding Supervisor Award. This award is given out annually by each genetic counseling program in collaboration with the Association of Genetic Counseling Program Directors and the National Society of Genetic Counselors. And it's to say thank you to those who promote a safe and positive learning environment for our students. This year, we say thank you to Jacob Best, who's Jacob is a certified genetic counselor at Miami Cancer Center and received his MS in genetic counseling at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai. Jacob was chosen for this award by graduating students in program leadership for his student-centered approach to supervision and evaluation. Students have described Jacob as an amazing supervisor and genetic counselor. He himself has strong psychosocial counseling skills, and students have learned from his example. Jacob's approach to feedback is direct, thorough, and honest. He creates a supportive and understanding learning environment that recognizes individual differences, especially in student learning styles. He has done all of this as a new supervisor during a time when our students and this training program really needed them the most. So please join me once again in expressing gratitude for Jacob Best, recipient of the Outstanding Supervisor Award. Congratulations. So next, I have an award that's not in your program, because we wanted it to be a surprise. This is the inaugural award for innovative practice. This is created to recognize the unique contributions of this individual to your genetic counseling training, and by extension, the very future of our profession. Over the past year, this individual has dedicated hundreds of hours to educating genetic counseling students at all stages of training. They have created a safe and supportive learning environment where students are encouraged to practice and play with their unique counseling styles, and skills, of course. Although not a genetic counselor by training, this person has helped students navigate the complexities of genetic counseling case management, and even more importantly, what patients might feel and understand about their encounter. Qualities that mirror an experienced genetic counseling supervisor, which I just mentioned. This person's expertise and friendship have been valuable to myself and to the program. So I'd like to express my deepest gratitude and congratulations to Andrew Kubicek, lead simulated patient. Thank you, Andy.
I want you guys to know, not kidding, I literally crawled out of an elevator to be here today. Zoe and I were stuck in an elevator for an hour, or I would have been early, and we had to crawl like out because they stopped midway and they couldn't get us out and stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to bed. It's the first thing I've done to in a year. I can't believe I'm here. Except I literally just sitting there. We live here now. That's it. I'm here to give the award, the poster, and I know that's all I'm supposed to do. I tell you, it was so moving to see all those posters. They were really great. They were really great, and it's like amazing to see the projects, you know, brought to a conclusion this way and brought to life, and I can't believe what a great job you guys did. So next time, I wasn't there for all the yelling injuries. Just have one round of applause for the entire. It's fantastic. And our judges, they picked a winner. But they wanted me, Bob's on this, they absolutely wanted me to say that there was they also wanted to give honorable mention, which I'm going to give first. Honorable mention to Aisha and Angel for their project on. I don't know how many of you know, but these guys just, they were so excited about the project we're going to do, and it fell apart in a day. From absolutely, obviously no fault of their own, they just handled it with so much grace, and then turned around and did it in incredibly quick time and did a beautiful job. So I'm really glad that the judges did pick to acknowledge what a fabulous job that was on the whole project. So I'm a little emotional about this poster. This is a project close to my heart. The winning project for this year, Sam and Aman for the Down syndrome. And in this, stand up, you guys. To begin with, and then they did such a beautiful job with these interviews. It's just wonderful. There is a prize that comes with it. We'll be sending it because it's the year of virtual everything, including gift cards. So, anyway, yes, Bob.
Can I just say, we had a really hard time choosing a winner this year. That usually is not the case. There were really a lot of excellent posters. It was hard to choose one.
Yeah, it's hard.
totally but on that, if everything was harder, everything was more complicated, and everyone just goes to communication. So fantastic, make me very proud, and I have to say that Sam and Aman's mentor wrote me when the project was done and said, "Thank you for letting me work on this with you, and if you have something else you want to do again, I would love to do it again." So that is like, they didn't know that when they picked it, but that is a great job these guys did. So I'm just so happy to see you. I'm just gonna talk.
We've now reached the partner program called the Pudding of Graduates. As we call your names, if you could be so kind as to enter on this side and pass this way. Yes. Thank you for the suggestion. Okay, first we have Darty Adia. This individual is not only an exemplary student, but an exceptional person who has dedicated herself to a future of service. Given that she meets everyone with a smile and has the biggest heart, she'll no doubt succeed in providing support and warmth to all of her clients, just as she's done for all of us in the program, who rave about her compassionate consideration, her love of careful listening, and her deeply intuitive nature. She's also been called the backbone of the cohort and, curiously, a unicorn tamer. That's right, dreamy Darty, we appreciate you. Next we have Daniel Morris. From the very first moment, this graduate impressed us with a considered investigation of the ethics of reintroducing the woolly mammoth. Ever since, he has urged us to think critically, to boldly question assumptions, to test the foundations of knowledge for cracks in logic. On many occasions, he revitalized conversations with his deep thoughts and generous heart. He's willing to take chances and take issue with the status quo, unafraid to challenge everything and anyone, including himself, in pursuit of truth. He's someone you want by your side during the apocalypse, even if it's to hear him say, "Man, what a time to be alive." Daring Daniel, felicitations on this accomplishment. Next, we have Catherine Urbina. This individual is enduringly empowering to others and herself. She'll rally your spirits, give you a boost, remind you that she has no doubt you'll succeed. She's spicy, she tells it like it is and makes you laugh about it. She's self-assured, confidently polished, ceaselessly motivated to do more and more and more and make it look easy. She's free-spirited and on point, heartfelt and joyful. Charming Catherine, kudos on your achievement. Ben Newsom. All technology bows at his command. He's a font of eclectic knowledge and experience from gene editing to construction to animal husbandry, a repertoire he consistently expands through lifelong learning. He's forever generous with his time and expertise, always willing to lend a helping hand. He's fastidious, funny, savvy, posing the important questions no one else thinks of. Busy Ben, our sincere compliments on all your good work. Next, we have Kyun Nguyen. This person is a great help to those around her. Through her impressive work ethic, her creativity, candor, and determination, she shares fresh perspectives, encouraging us all to reimagine the mundane, rethink the familiar. She's brainy, quick, inventive, enterprising, always finding expedient and effective solutions to tricky situations. Besides her academic acumen, she's an avid foodie, and we're all still hoping for a class trip to her curated list of restaurant recommendations. Happy Hyun, congratulations. Enos Louisiana. She is always professional and courteous, dignified, and devoted to work that is supportive and helpful to her clients. She is endlessly caring, embracing the concerns of others as her own, putting their needs first. She's knowledgeable, tender-hearted, driven, and hardworking, all the while unassuming and respectful to each and every person's experiences and emotions. She sees beauty in all those around her and reminds us to be grateful for each other's company. Energetic Enos, we are grateful for you. Cassandra Pizesco. She transforms difficulty and pain into passion and progress, making herself and others stronger, tougher, resilient, revived. She's ingenious, imaginative, gifted, scholarly, and more loving than we could ever imagine. She wants the best for everyone, everywhere, and can't stop herself from helping, even when she may be struggling herself. She's curious, nurturing, sometimes stern, and humble. She's an obstinate, headstrong woman who contains multitudes, and we are grateful she has shared them all with us. Bravo, Soulful Sandy. Angel Nguyen. It has been suggested that this person is highly motivated to learn and works well independently. She's articulate, intelligent, confident, focused, and wise. A powerhouse of diligence and self-respect, sharp of mind and fashion. She is always striving for self-improvement and achieves strides in work and character with grace and charm. Appreciative Angel, well done, very well done indeed. Amandeep Pabla. She is bold, yet relatable. She's not afraid to dive in deep, to take a stand. She's principled, dynamic, eager to talk about the real issues and keep it 100. This tough brashness belies a compassionate heart. She has a wicked sense of humor, complemented by a sassiness that comes from a place of compassion and love. She is intensely honest, level-headed, exceptionally moral. She's always looking for ways to refine her already sophisticated skills. Adventurous, Aman, you're an inspiration. Veronica Yamani. This next one is quirky. Steeped in optimism, she endlessly seeks and strives and stretches for new understandings. She ran her way into our hearts and then ran away with them with her dreamy idealism, soul-lifting humanity. She's the real deal, but humble, an amazing human, but modest. There seems to be no limit to the care she shares. This makes her one of the coolest cats, second only to Cheese. And we're grateful for her joyful, brilliant, strange talents. Raspy Ronnie, what a pleasure it is to meet you. Rachel Lanning. This person is down to earth, one of the wokest who knows it's not right to let an injustice persist. So naturally, she does something about it. She gets to work and diligently sets about breaking it down and apart. With intelligence, humor, sarcasm, and grit, she's considerate, polished, thoughtful, understanding, and super smart, using the strength of her convictions to make space for others. Ravenous Rachel, thank you for raising the bar of our collective consciousness. Sarah Saxton. Our next graduate is well prepared to take on new challenges, having creatively and artistically navigated many a tricky situation before. She's frighteningly perceptive and clever, composed under pressure with a lightning wit, yet she's humble and classy about it. Being independent and self-possessed, she tries to hide how much she loves her classmates, but we all know that tender heart of hers is secretly sentimental. Don't we? Sarcastic Sarah, you are a gem. Jenny Zhang. This individual is intuitive and ever sensitive to the feelings and needs of others in a perfectly non-biased way. She accepts every thought and emotion as natural and right, being ever calm and easy to talk to without any fear of judgment. She complements her unconditional positive regard with goofiness, creativity, and humor, and she rounds out her disciplined studiousness with crafty experiments, a paid-by-numbers here, a bread-making kit there. Jazzy Jenny, our compliments on all that you have done. Samantha Teresa Riddell. This person is keenly perceptive, aware of the practical and profound in each situation. She adapts easily and well to change and challenges, and stays eager to learn all the while. She is irrepressibly determined to move forward, to be better herself, and to better the world. She's friendly, funny, free-spirited, as well as conscientious, trustworthy, and even-keeled. She's a ray of steady sunshine, saying all you need to hear with a simple smile. With dry humor and persistent realism, she shares her clear-sighted perspective to the benefit of all. Savvy Samantha, Savvy Sam, you're a true gift. Sophia Drury. Is always very engaged with learning the most she could. She is an exemplar. She will not be stopped. She is a force to be reckoned with. Never hesitating to ask the hard questions, always on her game. She has drive, composure, strength, and she's fearless in the early morning. Yes, I mean the extreme lark that is the talented Sophia. Many congratulations to you. Charlotte Taylor Close. It's quite appropriate that her supervisor noted she's concise when appropriate, but knows how to elaborate. She does seem equally comfortable with a direct yes or no, as she does expounding on the conceptual vagaries of an emotion. As the essence of intrinsic motivation, she reminds us kindly that grades don't matter, learning does. She has a contagious energy that could get you through a marathon study session. She's articulate, classy, naturally radiant, and incorrigibly well-read, full stop. That's correct, I speak of the colorful Charlotte. And naturally next, we have Aisha Recca. She is incredibly intelligent but indecisive. Smart but indecisive. Sharp but no. She goes with the flow. She's perpetually open to new experiences and ideas, even if they may break her cloud. She's calm, cool, collected, great at giving advice, perhaps except to herself. She's a deep thinker, adventurous, grounded, and wise, yet lively and fun. She is unstintingly steadfast in her friendships and blazes new trails without leaving anyone behind. Awesome Aisha, we celebrate this triangle. Reed Ibrahim. This person is quietly confident in the kind of way where you suspect she's keeping a very great secret. And in fact, we know that she is, because when she decides to share, her thoughts are insightful, creative, and charitable, enlightening us all and deepening the collective conversation. She's smart, funny, and stylish, forever poised, and dedicated to her studies and the work of genetic counseling. Word has it she's also a coffee connoisseur, which must have come in handy when she kept Eastern class time while studying from abroad. Real Reed, thank you for all that you do. Sabina Gudmundsson. The depth of her honesty is unparalleled. She is pervasively passionate. She speaks up, speaks out, speaks her mind. She loves speaking. She's strong, brilliant, supportive of stuffed and live animals of all species, especially those with ES variants. Her authenticity inspires wonderful rapport and strong bonds with clients, classmates, course directors, and my goodness, can she make us stupendous salad. I know that Marshmallow joins us all today in celebrating our favorite Slytherin, Silly Sabina. Tiana Mordi. This individual is resilient and responded with aplomb to all of the adaptations and uncertainty of the past year. She is mature, friendly, receptive to emerging psychosocial concerns. In addition to this depth of character, she also happens to be super cool, creative, strong, brave, incredibly sweet and supportive. She has an irresistible laugh that catches on quickly, and her vivacity and vibrancy can never be doubted. Tenacious Tiana, thank you for the joie de vivre. Chantal Marie Garcia Muglialde. She's organized, efficient, and economical with her words. She's the best and most persistent wearer of hats. She's steady, loyal, with a huge heart kept both hidden and displayed on her sleeve. She's clear on what's real and true, what matters and what doesn't. Her presence brings calm and peace to the group, moderating our baseline heart rates to the tempo of an emo ballad. In an understated way, she's often unexpectedly humorous, with a delivery so dry, you're not sure if she means to be funny. But she is indeed an anchor in these tumultuous times. Chill Chantal, hats off to you on this achievement. Brooke Delahoy. She is the main character of every animated film. She's always ready to help and learn and freely speaks and shares feedback. She does her best each and every day, so good things are sure to come her way. She dependably nods along to every song and to every one of your ideas. She She's outgoing and fun. She's a social queen who always brings people together. She just wants to be where the people are. I'm dancing. But seriously, if we're talking Disney princesses, of which she is one, she gives off serious Megara vibes, maintaining stridently positive attitude and infectious energy, turning hardships into inviting challenges. So thanks, Beverly Brooke. It's been a real slice. Emily Ann Johnson. This individual spends a lot of time reading the primary literature and regular literature besides. She's smart, friendly, soulful, deeply intuitive, sometimes excruciatingly self-reflective. She's funny and always game for a thought-provoking conversation. We all know she's much, much stronger than she believes herself to be because we've seen her courage and vulnerability. We've been the recipients of her compassion and support. All of us, and surely Brene Brown too, are immensely proud of our excitable family. Anna Mae Bauer. She is kind-hearted, sweet, and fun to be around, no matter the circumstance or situation. She's a sharp wit and a sharp dresser who spreads great vibes wherever she goes. She somehow manages to be both a bit sassy and easygoing, up for anything and super chill. She has a laugh that reminds us all what happiness truly is. Magical Ming, what a delight you are. Melissa Manueli. She has the greatest attitude, the perfect mix of flexibility, awareness, and genuineness, with a dash of snark for extra flavor. She has excellent instincts for counseling, enhanced by her quiet calm. Don't let her composure deceive you, though. She is a still waters run deep kind of person, a calming presence, a great soul, good listener, and incredible baker. She is deliberate, attentive, and reliable. She just gets it, all of it. Anything and everything there is to know and understand. Mel and Melissa, kudos to you. Kaylin Carls. This person is bubbly, effervescent, like a glass of champagne, though sweeter, so perhaps more like Prosecco, or maybe even Moscato at times. She's relentlessly positive, fiercely curious, and a staunch advocate, especially for continued camaraderie during the dark days. She's the cool mom with a killer taco dip recipe, who can also explain her process to the first years. She's jovial and hilarious and always ready to remind us that we got this, guys. She's cheered us on, cheered us up, and made sure we all looked great in spirit there. Compassionate Kaylin, what a treasure you are. I guess I will officially welcome Brooke Tiana to the podium.
The Humboldt Auditorium. That was day one. Do you remember what it felt like? The day we met everyone?
That dark back left corner was where we were reunited with Claire, walking to our new home in the cold, rainy air, with no umbrella.
Walking through the front door of Wrexham.
Past Dippin' Dot,
You're in human genetics too?
there's
7 Canadians?
Where are Canadians?
That's more than a few.
Taking turns meeting with Alba, CBT, I-94, words we never want to hear. Learning to say skeletal or skeletal, pasta or pasta, all while grinning from ear to ear. So you 3 are from Jersey? You all share a place? The bonfires in the summer with the mini pool. The place to be after exams. Not to mention the breeding ground for the mosquito population of Yonkers. That's all I'll say about that.
Wait, you 3 are from Cali? You also share a space?
Yeah!
The warmest house on the block, literally. Can you open a window, please?
We also have classmates from India, Qatar, and Vietnam. And 3 more from Cali. Can everyone raise your hands? North Carolina, Penn, Illinois. Can't forget about New York and the 2 from Maryland.
See, we're a pretty diverse class. And everyone's so smart. But even we didn't expect how close we'd get right from the start.
The scavenger hunt in Manhattan, struggling with the subway. Shout out to the 2 and the 4. Decorating those DNA cookies on Genetic Counselor Awareness Day. City nights, dinner parties, picnics in the park, Thanksgiving, American and Canadian, Halloween, the clinical rotations we embarked. Physiology, shout out to the watch parties, themed movie nights, and really last minute plans. Chilling on the Wrexham lawn with our lemon squares and nachos, working on our jams.
Claire said winter break would be the ultimate test. Would we still be as close when we came back? This is when we proved our class was different than the rest.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, go! We got closer every day we sat together in class. We stayed connected through the distance with our lit WhatsApp group, but alas. Have you heard of COVID? That virus is kind of scary. Ugh, it'll probably pass in a few months. 16 months later, we felt quite the contrary.
Standing Google Hangouts, book club, game nights and hikes, really long FaceTimes as the case numbers spiked.
We found ways to stay united, even when it wasn't ideal. Ask us about our ambiguity tolerance, I'd say it's unreal. Hashtag Thrive, hashtag Grow. SLC will make a GC out of you. We're genetic counselors who
Highlighted patient sim and asynchronous learning. Whether you're in L1 or L2, in-person experiences had us yearning.
We're genetic counselors who can pick up on emotion based on tone of voice. Whether you're an L2 or an R1, we didn't really have a choice. We're genetic counselors who are advocates and leaders who think outside the box and well on our feet. Empower each other, especially when you feel incomplete.
But who in your class do you really like the best? You ever loved your class so much you don't want to separate one from the rest?
Through the highs and the lows, all the moments in between, I choose this class every time, even when a pandemic intervenes.
Now here we are, finally all back in the same room. It's been quite a journey with a little too much soon.
With utmost thanks to our family and friends, despite poor communication, you stuck with us to the end.
We can't forget to thank our leadership and faculty, supervisors, and mentors alike. We tip our grad caps to you for helping us take the training wheels off the bike.
To our inspirational class, we passed our exams and submitted our theses with rotations done and boards up next. Who's ready to be CGC?
Now we're busting out of this place.
We did it, we're done.
But we aren't saying goodbye.
I mean, we're done!
Okay, just a couple more minutes. I'm going to close us out. I think echoing a lot of the remarks that were already made today. Just looking around the room and seeing the class of 2021 gathered in person. I've been struck by the realization that unlike the many disappointments and canceled plans of this past year, today for me has been a very pleasant surprise. After zooming from home offices and bedrooms and kitchens all over the world, seeing all of you in the same room is more than I could have imagined for graduation. And it could be that after all this time, I've finally learned to manage my expectations, but I prefer to think, as Claire said earlier, that the storm is passing. And now the adaptations and trials of your training will inform your unique contributions to the field of genetic counseling. A graduating class with more grit and resilience than perhaps ever before in our program's very long history. So I want to encourage you, as Joan Marks might have, to draw on these experiences to shape our future. Join a committee, do some research, become a supervisor. And as Crystal said, you're joining the largest genetic counseling alumni network in the world. A group of individuals who have not only created a profession, but continue to lead important change in our practice. And so we all very much look forward to witnessing the marks that each of you will make. I want to say thank you to friends and family who are watching from home for your support of our graduates, the class of 2021. And please join me in congratulating them one final time. Let's see.
They had one.